Hello everyone, I am Andrella. Welcome to my online high school. In today's class, we are going to study measurement of length, tools used for measuring length, using a meter scale to measure length, and errors and three different possibilities of errors. Next, we will go through measuring the length of a curved line, its two activities, and one short exercise. Measurement of length. Length is a measure of distance. It is used to express measures such as height, breadth, depth, thickness, radius, diameter, circumference, perimeter, and distance. What is length? Here, the definition of length is written as it is a measure of distance. So, this is point A. Suppose this is point A. This is point B. So from point A to point B, this measure of distance, this is a distance. So you're measuring it. So this from point A to point B, this is length. And length is measured in meters. It might be 1 meter. It also can be 2 meter. So 1 is the digit, m is the unit. So length is measured in what? What is the unit of length? Length is measured in meter. It is used to express measures such as height, breadth, depth, thickness, radius, diameter. So we know, suppose it is a circle. So this is a radius, r. So r radius, it might be 1 meter, then diameter will be 2 meter. So all are length. The standard unit, that is SI unit of length, is the meter. So SI unit is m, that is meter. Some commonly used multiples and sub-multiples of meter are, so we have studied in the last class what is multiples and what is sub-multiples of unit. Multiples are the bigger unit and sub-multiples are the smaller ones. So here in this chart, we will go through that 1 millimeter is 1 by 1000 of a 1 millimeter is 1 by 1000 of a meter. 1 meter is again 1000 millimeter. That also you can say. 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters, or 1 by 100 of a meter. Like reverse, you can also say 1 meter is 100 centimeter. Like here it is already I've mentioned 1 meter is 100 centimeter or 1000 millimeters. Then 1 decameter is 10 meters. 1 hectometer is 10 decameters or 100 meters. And 1 kilometer is 10 hectometers or 100. So this part, you can understand these are the multiples. They are the bigger units. And like centimeters, millimeters are the sub multiples, smaller units. They are used for measuring small lengths, small distances, like of a thin metallic wire, very small, which is thin. And for measuring like cities, the distance of a city, that for that you need to measure it in kilometers, not in smaller units. So few examples, again I'll read. The distance between two cities is given in kilometers and not in meters. For example, the distance between Jammu and Kanyakumari is given as 3,399 kilometer and not 3,399,000 meters. The distance between Jammu and Kashmir is 3,399 kilometers. So, this is the digit and this is the unit. This is a bigger unit, kilometer, for measuring large distances, for measuring the distance in cities or between two cities. But if you write like this, so to convert kilometers into meters, it will be so 3,339,000 meters. So we will not use this. This is wrong because the more the number of digits, the more the number of zeros, the writing such numbers or with the unit, it becomes confusing. So better you can write this way. Three. That is why kilometer is used for bigger for measuring large distances. 3,399. This is way more convenient. Small lengths like the diameter of a thin metal wire are given in millimeters and not in meters. Now, like just now, sometime back I mentioned, like measuring diameter of a wire. This is a wire. You can see this is a cable. It's my for charging my phone, so I'm just using this. So for measuring this, you will not use kilometer or meter. Then again, it will be very much confusing, because so that is why smaller units like millimeters, centimeters, they can be used for measuring the diameter of this wire. Okay, mainly millimeters is used, and for this length of this wire, we can use centimeters. Large distances, for example, distance between stars, are measured in light years and not in kilometers. A light year is the distance traveled by light in 1 year. So, like in universe, when we are measuring the distance between two stars, then again kilometers is not used. Kilometers is mainly like on our Earth. That is more convenient. But when you're because in universe the stars are very far away from each other, right? So there, instead of measuring it in kilometers, measuring in light years will be better. So 1 light year, I'll mention it. 1 light year is how much? 9.46 into 10 to the power 15 meter. You can write this way, or you can write 9.46 into 10 to the power 12 kilometer. So what is 1 light year? 1 light year is the distance traveled by light in 1 year, but in space there is no air, so there is complete vacuum. So there 1 light year, the distance is 9.46 into 10 to the power 15 meter, or else you can say, if you want to write it in kilometers, then like we know 1 kilometer is 1,000 meter, so it will be 9.46 into 10 to the power 12 kilometer. Okay, there is a small science tidbit that is like did you know types. It's a fun fact. Let's go through it. In our country, the National Physical Laboratory, that is NPL, at New Delhi maintains the standard units. The standard meter and the standard kilogram are kept at NPL. The meter rods and kilogram weights used in the market are copies of these standards. The time standard is maintained at the NPL on extremely accurate atomic clocks. So, what is it mentioned? That in National Physical Laboratory, which is in New Delhi, there the standard meter and the standard kilogram are kept in NPL. So that standard meter and standard kilogram is like, for meter, a meter rod is used. It's like a rod. So for rod length we use, right? So there the standard meter, it is kept over there. That is a meter rod. And for measuring standard kilogram, there is a kilogram weight that is also kept in the NPL, that is in the National Physical Laboratory at New Delhi. And in the market, like in the market that we go, they are just carbon copy or similar to that of those. And time standard is also maintained at the NPL on extremely accurate atomic clocks. Then next we will come to tools used for measuring length. Many tools are used to measure length. The most commonly used tools are meter scale and measuring tape. So last day I showed that this is like a measuring tape. You can we also get meter scale. Okay, so these are the most commonly used tools used for measuring length. Many tools are used to measure length. The most commonly used tools are the meter scale and the measuring tape. The tool to be used for any measurement depends on the type of work and the accuracy that is needed. The ruler is in your geometry box, is a smaller version of the meter scale and is used to measure length. So in a previous video you have seen, I had shown this is like a measuring tape that is used for measuring cloth, and in geometry box the scales that we see or the ruler that we use, these are like the smaller versions of meter scale. So meter scale is for bigger one, for measuring like lengths for that you can measure it in meter, and for centimeter scale for smaller distance, for small lengths. Using a meter scale to measure length. Error. While measuring, using a meter scale to measure length, there will be errors that we are facing. So errors, now what are the common types of errors? There are mainly three possibility of errors. We will go through it. While measuring the length using a meter scale, there are three possible errors which may occur. If the meter scale is not placed exactly along the length being measured, we will get a wrong reading. It is therefore necessary to position the meter scale correctly. A big meter scale I am using and I am measuring the length. So if it is not placed properly like this, and then we are measuring the entire length of the board, like for bigger purpose, for a bigger purpose we use a meter scale. So if the meter scale I'm not placing it properly and I'm measuring the distance, the length is not measured properly, then of course the reading will go wrong. So we have to keep it properly to measure the length. An error can occur due to wrong position of the eye while taking a reading. This error is called parallax error. Notice that the readings taken from positions A, B, and C of the eye are different. This error can be avoided by placing the object in such a way that the eye is vertically above the point where the measurement is to be taken. So, suppose I am measuring a length, so my eye should be vertically like this, and then I should be measuring the length of any, like suppose of this pen. Okay, and so of this marker pen, I want to measure the length. So my eye should be on like vertically above. Then only I should measure. My eye should not be from this angle or from this angle. Rather, it should be vertically right on top, and then I should measure the length of this marker pen. If we make mistake like by seeing from this angle or this angle, that is a parallax error. Parallax error, when is it caused? A parallax error is caused due to the wrong positioning of the eye from any angle. So the eye should be placed vertically right on the scale to measure the length. So what is the third error? Let's go through it. The portion of the meter scale near the mark that represents 0 may be worn out. If this is the case, place one end of the object to be measured at the centimeter mark instead of the 0 mark, and take the reading at the other end. Subtract 1 from this reading to get the correct length. Suppose this end, it is worn out. Okay, the one end of the scale, it is worn out. So I can start from 1 centimeter, and then it is showing 14.5. So if this side is worn out, you can leave this part. From 1 centimeter you can start, and from 1 centimeter it is showing 14.5, the measure of the whiteboard marker. So now what should I do to get the original length of this whiteboard marker? Just minus 1 centimeter from the end of the reading. So that how much will be the answer? That will be 13.5 centimeter. Measuring the length of a curved line. A meter scale cannot be used to measure the length of a curved line, so we use either a thread or a pair of dividers to measure the length of a curved line. So, particularly to measure the length of a curved line, you can either directly, you cannot use a scale because scale is straight, right? So, to measure the distance of a curved line, how you can either you can use a divider or else you can use a thread, and then or you can also use a measuring tape. Now we will go through two experiments. First activity, let's go through it. To measure the length of a curved line using a thread. Materials required are a thread, a meter scale, a curved line that has to be measured. Method. Knot the thread at one end. Place the knot at the beginning of the curved line that has to be measured and press it with your thumb. Place a small portion of the thread along the curved line. Press the other end of this portion with your forefinger. Now place the thumb at point B, and now press the other end of this portion of the thread along the next portion of the line. Repeat the trace the entire length of the curved line using the thread. Mark the thread where it touches the end of the line. Now stretch out the thread on a meter scale and measure its length. The length of the thread is the length of the curved line. So, like if we consider this as a curved line, okay? This is point A, this is point B. So, simply if this is a thread, here in the experiment, what it is saying is if it is a thread, then and if you're using a curved line and this is a thread, and then from one point you can start, this, and just you can press it your this thread with a thumb, and then eventually step little by little you can again take this another point, and then again another, like this. You can just eventually cover the entire distance, like this. And then 2 points you can take, and you can just take a meter scale where you can put this thread and measure the distance, whether it is 21 centimeter or 20 centimeter. So first you take a curved line, you need a thread. By pressing thumb of one point, you can just eventually step by step, slowly you can full cover the length, and then whatever the length comes in the thread, you can just put it on the meter scale, and you will get to know what is the length of the curved line. To measure the length of a curved line, you can also do it by using a pair of dividers. So aim is to measure the length. So this is the second experiment that we will study. Materials required only, instead of a thread, a divider. That's the only difference, or else a curved line is the same. Method, let's go through it. Open out the pair of dividers so that the legs are 5 millimeter apart. That is, we have a divider, the two legs, just open it apart such that the distance between the two legs is 5 millimeters apart. Place one of the leg at one end of the line and the other leg on the line. Without altering the distance between the leg of the divider, take the dividers along the line. Count the number of steps taken to cover the entire length of the line. Multiply the number by 5. This gives you the length of a curved line in millimeters. If some portion less than the distance between the two legs is left out, measure it separately by adjusting the distance between the leg. So we know that a divider has two legs. Suppose if this is the distance, that is the 5 millimeter, then like this we can measure again, like this. So if it is 5 times, if I am covered with the help of the divider, then 5 into 5, it is 25 millimeters. And if some portion is left at the end, whether it is 3 millimeter or 2 millimeter, you can adjust the divider and find it out. And then in the meter scale, you can just understand what is the distance. Then if it is 3 millimeter, then 25 plus 3 is 28 millimeters. So you can exactly understand that the curved line's length is 28 millimeter. Next, we will go through 5 fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. Length, breadth, speed, and temperature are some examples of dash quantities. So, what will be the first answer? Physical quantities. We have already studied this in the very first class, that is in the first video. Scientists all over the world use dash units for measurement. What will it be? Standard units. Or we can say SI units. The SI unit of length, the SI unit of length is meter. Next, fourth, the SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Degree Celsius is frequently used, it is true, but the SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Small lengths like the diameter of a thin metal wire are represented in, if it is length of a thin metal wire, then we can use the unit centimeter, but for diameter, hence it is written, so we will use millimeter.